I'm only funny when I try to be.
I thought it was gonna be the opposite. I'm only funny when I try to be serious.
So I feel very hungry right now. My appetite's not been the same, so I'm just kind of like, I'm not gonna eat. But like, notice that I haven't been eating right now at the moment.
I like how you're like, I'm really hungry, but I'm not gonna eat. You want some water? That's the best I can offer you right now.
It's really funny, like the weave on the pillow like changes at the edge of the pillow, so it kind of looks like, yeah, it kind of looks like the screen isn't refreshing right, so it looks like it's just kind of smeared. It's funny.
Yeah, it's a weird, like, I don't know, knitted thing.
Hmm.
Probably machine knitted, but still.
Yeah.
It's funny because of the lighting, the corner looks green and you look kind of purple.
I'm reverse hulking.
And in comparison, I'm orange.
Green,
Orange,
purple.
glad you're not green with envy because there's purple who are better than you. I don't know. Probably should have thought of that before I started speaking.
You got my slippers. Well, yesterday I slept for a couple of hours, just kind of like. Um, I feel like it didn't help a lot. Like I took it easy and didn't do anything, but at the end of the day, I didn't feel like way more rested or better or anything. Like part of me is like, I know that there's like benefit to letting your body rest when you're trying to recoup, but it's also, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like we're like stopping your life just because you're sick is also kind of dumb. I
Yeah,
don't know. So
I
who
can
knows?
see, I can see both because there's the type of people who are like, no matter what, like I need to be productive. My time needs to, give something. Otherwise, it's a waste of time, a waste of existence and
Mhm.
everything. And there's other people, it's like, oh, okay, I'm feeling sick, so let's just let my body do what it does and, just not stress or do anything.
Yeah.
And both of them do have a point. So it's like, I guess it depends on how you see it.
How do you get this out?
So let me ask you this. If we weren't in the final stages of creating this thing, would you feel like you want to be productive or would you just rest?
It's a really good question. I feel like part of me struggles with not being productive.
Hmm.
Um, like it takes feeling like really miserable to get me to just stop doing stuff. I don't know. At this point in my life, I don't think it's from some sort of like need to prove anything. Right? It's just like I just I just I don't know. I like creating stuff and feeling like I'm progressing. Maybe I just feel like if you're not creating something, there is no there's no movement, and maybe that's not right.
Okay, but let me ask you this: Are you progressing or are you amateur progressing?
That's a good one.
Yeah, like I understand what you mean. It was the same. Like yesterday, I'm like, well, technically, I need to wait for you to be done the engagement Firestorm so I can do the video on the back end. And once everything's uploaded, I can just test the funnel. And then once it's done, I do the mobile version. And I'm just like, screw it, I'm doing the mobile version. Even though technically it would have made more sense to wait because there might be a few tweaks. And because now the mobile version is done, every time I make a modification, I have to modify the version and the mobile version. It's like, it doesn't make sense to do it beforehand, but I'm like, I got nothing else to do, so let's do it. And I'm surprised. I thought it would take longer than it did. It took maybe like, I don't know, 3 hours. So that's when you realize it's like, it's the setting up of everything that takes a long time. Once everything's there, you just have to like, literally copy each part, each section, and then it's like, all right, tweak the sizing, tweak the spacing just so everything looks nice. And it's like you don't need to add or remove anything or test anything. It's literally just like make it look good. So it's really not as bad as I thought it would be.
Nice.
It's nice now to be able to look on the phone and be like, oh wow, this actually looks good. Because before, the 1 or 2 times I checked, I'm like, oh my god, that is horrible. By the way, I was chatting with, I don't know, I guess it would be a friend because it's a girl that I matched with back when I was in Costa Rica site. But she was literally just passing through on her way back to Peru. We talk every once in a while. Don't really expect anything. At this point, we're just friends. Anyway, all that to say that we were talking this morning and I mentioned, oh, I'm just, waiting for my friend, like for a business meeting. Where you have a business meeting in bed. I'm like, well, he's my best friend and he's sick, so we're probably not going to do that much work. But, all that to say, she's like, oh, poor friend. So there's someone out there who feels sorry for you and wishes you were better.
Thanks for sharing that.
You're welcome. Although that was a very long story to not say very much.
You can say that in like 2 words. You're pitied.
It's so funny how most of the times when something happens, I'm like, let's say like yesterday, I went to sleep like almost 1 o'clock, and now I'm tired this morning. But the person I was spoken to had to wake up at 5. So in comparison, like I slept way longer. So I'm like, I don't have any reason to feel bad. It's like every time I don't feel good, there's someone else that feels worse than me. So I'm like, I can't feel bad because it could be worse.
Yeah.
I don't know what my point was. Yeah, that was my point. No, actually, this is my point. Sorry, there was no point to that statement. I feel like my humor is a little too pointed at the moment. Okay, I think I'm done now.
You just hit that point where you were like, that's enough jokes.
Oh, I just hit the point of no return. Yeah, that was good. Yeah. But no, not really. It was all bad, but I enjoyed it.
I've been meaning
Like,
to ask you how many more will save books do you have sketched out?
um, I have two more books to finish the initial series,
Hmm.
and there's a like sequel series that follows his son.
Hmm.
So that's three more books. So technically five books.
Wow.
And unfortunately, the last two in the first series are really long. It was initially supposed to be 7 and 3 for a total of 10. But
Hmm.
the seventh book in the first series was just like there was too much. I'm like, no, this can be like 1,000-page book. So let's split it into two. And even doing that, they're like the outlines are the two longest ones of every other book.
Dang.
And I'm like, I don't want to remove anything because if it needs to be there, it needs to be there. And if it's
Hmm.
long, whatever. It's like I feel like when I'm finally going to get to the point where it's like, all right, time to write this, I'm going to be like, all right, step one, go through the outline and remove everything that I can.
Well,
Just because I don't remember why, but normally my books have like, intro, outro, and three main sections. And I forget why for that one, like there was four sections that I had to do. Because I think like maybe one main theme was like the four elements or something like that. So it's like it has to be four sections.
yeah.
And it's like each section is like the normal length. So it's like maybe 25% longer than it normally would be because I have four sections instead of three. So that's probably why I push it off. Because I'm like, I don't want to write because they're going to take even longer than normal. But there's also part of me, I'm like, all right, once we launch this and we start making money and I don't have to spend that much work on this, my focus is probably going to be like, all right, let's at least finish
Mhm.
the first series so I can then take like a break and not feel guilty.
Mhm.
And then I come back for the like sequel trilogy. Yeah. That was a very, very long answer to say five. How about you? How many books do you have? Right.
How many books do I have to write?
Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, I'd never thought about it being a book, but I do have a couple of ideas for stuff that instead of making them as a TV series, might be interesting to make them as books.
So if you didn't have to do like, a lot of work to actually write the books, if that part wasn't that hard, how many you get to the end of your life, like, what? I wrote the book, and maybe the answer is zero. Like I don't know what you.
I I don't know what you said. Like the audio got choppy, and like I saw you talking, but I didn't hear about half of what you said.
Okay, I was saying. Well, first of all, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, there's no point in repeating it if you still can't hear me. And so I was saying, imagine that the writing process is not that difficult. So like ignore the work you have to do to write the book. Imagine you get to the end of your life and you're looking back and you're like, yep, okay, I wrote the books that I wanted to write. How many do you think that would be? And maybe it's zero. Like I have no idea.
I don't know that I've ever very seriously considered writing a book. I mean, it's come up since I've gotten into marketing and being like, oh, like a teaching book would be a really great way to like generate leads and sales. Like since you mentioned that book writing is like a great way to be able to like have 100% control of the creative process, it started to make more sense to me in terms of like, oh, if I did it that way, like I don't need to wait for anybody else to create this thing. So from that sense, it's very interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I
It's
think that's the beauty of writing. It's kind of like that process of you can just create this. It's
mhm,
like then you don't need to go out and do it. It's kind of like that same process. Like you can create the entire world and the universe and the characters in the book, and it's like you
mhm,
can bring it to fruition, but then you don't have to like go out and make a movie or like make it
mhm,
into something. Once you're done writing the book, the process is complete.
yeah. Hmm.
You would kind of
I
enjoy it because it's similar to that process that you enjoy of just creating something.
yeah. Well, I mean, now that you ask it that way, I'm like, I've never like looked forward and pictured myself having written books, but now that I'm thinking about that, I'm like, I might have a series in me somewhere. Like that might be a way that I could get the ideas out that I have without having a whole bunch of it's just way harder. It's a lot more energy to recruit people and get them all synchronized and on board with the same vision. It's not like it's impossible, but usually it's difficult enough that it takes a lot of money to streamline that process. Hmm.
Anyway, it's just a random question. You don't need to, break your brain trying to come up with an answer.
I feel like I would probably have more fun making like spin-off series of stuff. Like the way that like sequels are very popular. Like I feel like if you had somebody who like that was what they were really good at, is taking existing properties and like zeroing in on like the core of what makes that thing really special and like teasing that out into something new and like honors the old work, adds something to it unique, um, kind of like resurrect those old ideas, so to speak, while making it fresh instead of feeling like just a retread or a rehash of. I'm trying to think of a good example.
So basically, you'd want to like, actually, a good example that I like is when you take like, let's say a fairy tale and you retell it in an original way.
Right.
Kind
Yeah.
of like starting doing, what was it, like 6 months ago? Yeah, about that. No, not 6 months, 3 months, 4 months. Anyway, a while back.
Yeah. Yeah. Something along the lines of what Hook was.
But
Um,
not that.
but I mean, closer to that than say like the new Star Wars trilogy that they made. It's like they, I think they did an okay job of like making the property um, relevant again, but I don't feel like they really truly expanded that universe in any meaningful way. It was very, very safe. Like, let's breathe life into this thing again, but it didn't really take any big risks or tell us any new, really truly new stories.
Yeah, you're right. I can't think of a single example off the top of my head, but it's like I love when they make a movie and then they make a sequel and you're like, oh, it's just gonna be like the exact same thing. And then you just like flip it around and you're like, that was so cool. I was not expecting that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I can't think of a single example right now, but I remember having that experience of like, oh, I just thought it would just be the same thing. And it's like, nope, they completely reinvented everything.
Yeah. Movies do that, can tend to do that if like they have a good twist in them. Like, like in a single sitting or experience, like they'll turn a trope on its head or something. And I think like a couple movies that for me were like Looper. I wasn't really expecting that movie to pan out how it did, and it was an interesting. It was an interesting exploration of like time travel and kind of like a hitman movie. Um, what was the other movie I was thinking of? The brain is so foggy today.
Still trying to find a good example of this.
Ever After was a little bit kind of in that space where it's sort of like you think you know the story that they're gonna tell, but they just tweak enough things. It's like this feels pretty new. Like this feels like a unique take on the material. It was still like it was like the same story we've heard. It wasn't like adding to it like a sequel. But trying to think of
This is gonna bug me.
what movies have had really, really like divergent sequels. That oh, you know what? Indiana Jones, like the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. I feel like tried to do that a little bit. It's like it captured a lot of what made the first one good, but it went a very different direction, like in terms of tone and in terms of what the character was experiencing. Sort of, kind of a descent into the underworld sort of story, and it was I don't know. A lot of people didn't like that film, but I was that's one of my favorites. I mean, Empire
It's
Strikes
been a
Back.
long time since I've seen him. Which one is that? Is that the one with his father?
That's the third one. The Temple of Doom is the one where it's like it's a prequel to the Raiders of the Lost Ark. It's actually set a couple years before the first one happens, and so it kind of outlines like he's a very sort of like um, matter of fact type character. It's like like anything can happen. Whatever happens is just kind of what it is. I'm not trying
That
to
the
pass.
one where like there's that like huge guy who shows up in the market and you're like, oh, it's gonna be an epic fight, just pulls his gun and shoots
Yep,
him.
yep,
Oh man. That was such a good moment. I don't know why, like it was so good because you're expecting like an epic fight. And he just
right.
shoots, even though you're like you should be disappointed, you're not because you're like, that was so good.
Yeah, and it's such a. I think a moment like that is so because it's like what you would do in real life. It gets to the truth more than uh like a hyper exact like exaggerated fight scene. So it's like, yeah, the like all of the tropes of like the heroes battling it out, the tug of war between like good and evil. It's like we need that hyper exaggeration to explore that stuff. But then you have these moments where it's like, yeah, but if this was real, like you probably wouldn't do that. And so because you're just so used to seeing that pattern all the time in the stories, when you kind of let a little bit more, um I don't know, it's just it kind of interrupts the like the pre-existing, assumptions and scripts. So it just makes you pay more attention. And well, yeah, it's such a good blend of like comedy, um, realism, unexpected. I mean, that's the whole reason we go to the movies, is like to see stuff that's like we kind of know it, but we want to be surprised.
That's never a movie or a series or book is capable of taking you on your journey and you're like, oh, okay, I kind of know what's going to happen. And then they do something. It's like, no, you just broke the rules. It's
Mhm.
like they kill the main character. And for an episode, the main character isn't there anymore. And you're like, what just happened? They're not allowed to do that. That's not how like TV works.
Yeah,
When they do that and they do it well, it's so cool.
yeah. Oh, yeah. National Treasure and I, Robot are two movies that play with these tropes that I really liked, because you look at any typical like treasure hunting movie, and usually the treasure is some sort of bigger metaphor for something. So, often they'll have the hero go all the way to the end, they find the treasure, and then they don't really walk away with the treasure because they realize it's like I didn't need to go on this journey to find that.
National
But
treasure.
yeah, but except for National Treasure, it's like they actually find it and discover it and keep it, and it's like that was an unexpected twist for me. Like I wasn't expecting. I kind of expected the treasure hunter trope of like some sort of you know cataclysmic collapse, and like they just have to escape with their lives and blah blah blah. And then it's like no, they actually get out and they rescue the treasure and they get a piece of it, and it's like what, that just blew my mind. Just because it was like, I mean, that's kind of what you want, but it's like that's so rarely done because that's the obvious thing. And so to kind of have that trope reversal was like really good. And then iRobot was another one where it's like um the guy that like the robot that you've kind of like gotten to know, and they've anthropomorphized, and you've like gotten invested in this character, and they set up at the end where it's like um, you think that the character is gonna die because of the situation that they set up. It's like somebody's I forget exactly how it is, but it's like they're somebody has to go sacrifice themselves, so to speak, to like um, shut off the power to all the evil robots, and you think it's gonna be this. Hey, what? And you think it's gonna be this character that you've like started off as a machine and you've like grown to love, and then it's gonna be like the Messiah, you know, um, kind of trope of like dying for to sacrifice themselves so that everybody else can live, and then they played with that trope of having the Will Smith character find another way to solve the problem, and I really liked that because I wasn't expecting the robot, the singing character, to live. And so when you set up the expectation where we're expecting something negative to happen, and then you allow the positive thing to to exist, it can be really surprising. And I think that's also why like the reverse is true. It's like in a shocking murder or like a main character dies or something. You're like, what just happened? Like you can't break the rules like that. It's like you set up this universe and then like I'm expecting the main characters are going to be the main characters.
Or one of the best examples of like very surprising twist ending is you've seen Red, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did not see that ending coming. That really got me.
It's been a long time. That you're talking about the Bruce Willis movie, like right, with the old guys.
Maybe I'm talking about Red Notice. What's the one with The Rock and Ryan Reynolds?
I think that's Red Notice. Yeah. Oh, you didn't see that ending coming?
Nope.
That one seemed super obvious to me.
Really? Nope.
Yeah.
I was just in the movie enjoying it. I'm like, I love The Rock. I love Ryan Reynolds. This is amazing. And I was just kind of like on the ride, not thinking about anything. It just popped up. I'm like, oh wow.
Yeah, I suspected about halfway into the movie that was going to be how it played out. That they were in cahoots with each other. Wasn't really. I'm not sure what tipped me off, but like often things like that, it's hard to surprise me. I've just seen so many movies and stories that are just like I have a lot of it's hard to surprise me and have it be like emotionally satisfying. I mean, you can pull something out of left field and it's just like what, but have it really like truly earned and have it feel like it makes sense for that world, and then it's like also really good movie. That my favorite films are ones where it's like it's not because of the twist that it makes it a good movie, but it's like the twist just is like one more added thing on top of the everything else is working so well. Because like some twist endings or surprises, like once you've seen it once, it's sort of like it kills the tension in the film, and so you can't watch it again without being like, yeah, but I know it's gonna happen. But there are some films that's like it doesn't matter because the whole rest of the film is just so freaking good.
I don't know. I think, yeah, I'm right. Like, it's rare that I get surprised. That one, I was just along for the ride, and it just popped up. I'm like, oh, that was surprising. But a lot of the times it happens, it's like, I'm so good at seeing things coming and understanding how stories work that I'm like, oh, that's going to be the twisting and ending. It's going to be so cool. And then they don't do it. I'm like, so much there and they didn't even make it.
We missed. Oh, we did.
I don't remember what movie it was. It was some horror movie. The entire thing was like a build up and a build up and a build up. It's like at the end, I'm like, oh, like they're gonna do this whole like flip thing and it's gonna be super cool. And it's just like, no, all that build up for nothing. Like, what?
There are a couple movies that had some sort of like I'm trying to think. Hey, Eden. Eden. Why are you yelling? You don't have to talk to Grandma. Just come back in here. You don't know it. You don't know it. You know what, Grandma? come back in here. No, like what I was talking. Is she trying to get you to do something? Well, no. Stay in here. Stay in here, sweetheart. Okay. Forget what I was.
I don't know. We're talking about storytelling, but what I love is when they just break the unspoken rules of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, this whole like series or movie, like build up to this thing, and midway through, it's like they resolve it, and you're like, what?
Mm.
What now? What just happened? It's like it's kind of like a whole new movie from that point on. You're like,
Yeah.
I did not see that coming.
Oh, what was a movie that did that for me is like Salt. It was the Angelina Jolie spy movie.
Yeah, I don't really remember the story.
It wasn't that good of a movie, but it was surprising enough that I enjoyed it while I was watching it.
Was it the one where it's like midway through, it's like, oh, she turns out to be the bad guy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So the movie is set up like on a typical like espionage trope, which is like the main character is set up and is on the run. So of course your expectation for that framing is like, how are they going to like prove their innocence? So it's like they've got to stay just one step ahead of, and it turns out that like the 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 way it looks like she's set up actually turns out that it's true. She is like uh, a spy for the other side, and so your mind is blown like halfway through the film. It's like, what? This is like the bad guy person, and so then it's like and then it's a journey of like her slowly kind of redeeming herself in the like by the end of the film. It's sort of like you kind of sort of sympathize and like feel justified in like the actions that she takes, which is a really like a really gutsy take on that genre. And I thought it did an okay job, but it wasn't a very memorable movie. I think that whoever directed it probably just didn't have a lot of like didn't have enough visual flair to really make like a strong mark. But the story I thought was a pretty good idea. It was very felt pretty original.
Well, you're probably right about that because I looked movie credits. He's made, I don't know, maybe 20 movies.
Uh-huh.
Everything okay?
Eden's putting some stuff on the wall. I don't know. Yeah. What was about 20 movies?
Oh, the guy who directed Salt.
Oh.
He made 20 movies, and I've seen one other one. Really best.
This is the one that we put on the wall.
Okay. What movies?
There's Backroads, Sun, Heatwave, Echoes of Paradise, Dead Calm, Blind Fury, Patriot Games, Silver, Clear and Present Danger, The Saint, The Bone Collector, Rabbit Proof Fence, The Quiet American, Catch a Fire, then Salt, The Giver, Above Suspicion, Desperate Hour. I've only seen 2 of those, or even heard of 2 of those.
Rabbit Proof Fence, I've heard of that. That was a Quiet American.
Wow. In the name of some sort of comedy with like rabbits who are trying to get in like someone's garden and eat stuff, and it's like, yeah, look way not like that.
We're gonna fix this one.
Oh, you're gonna fix that one?
I'm trying to
Can you just leave it now? And
That's the allergy.
well, that yeah, Mama has this one. Can you just leave it there now? Okay.
I'm fixing it.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
Oh, he directed Patriot Games.
What are you doing? You want to put this now
It's been a
first.
while
Hold
since I've
on.
seen that.
Are you done that?
I watched. No, I'm still talking to Gil. I watched several of those like Tom Clancy films when I was in college, and I don't really remember any of them. I feel like they were trying to become like the American version of James Bond, and they're just kind of like,
Yeah, I never really got into Tom Clancy like stuff.
yeah, me either. I
To
never
be
read
fair,
any of his books.
games that they like that Ubisoft made,
Mhm.
but it's like the game was fun. It had nothing to do with like they were just using his name to sell it. You know?
Yeah.
No, I didn't realize he was dead. I mean, Tom Clancy, not the other guy. Wow. He sold his first novel for $5,000.
Dang.
Can you turn it down a little? You can see Bill.
Yeah. Did you want to see it? You see yourself in it?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is that?
Necklace.
It's a necklace. What's the weirdest movie or TV show you've ever watched?
Sorry?
What's the weirdest thing you've ever watched?
I didn't realize just how many Tom Clancy games there were. 15 Rainbow Six, Ghost Recon, 8 Splinter Cell, 1 Noir, 1 Hawks,
Necklace.
2 Division. There's like 50 games or something.
Wow.
I guess that's the thing. It's kind of like Assassin's Creed is based. Like, no one's ever heard of the book, but it's like the series is so popular.
Yeah. Are you giving that to me? Is it sticky? Sticky? Ducky?
What are you doing?
Just cleaning it off.
All right, I kept being distracted.
What? Yeah.
Have you ever seen that video of the dad who used like a vacuum cleaner to tie his daughter's?
Yeah.
I feel like you'd be that kind, not because like you're lazy just because like this is hilarious.
Yeah.
I could picture you doing that.
Totally right.
Where's Miss Courtney?
I don't know.
Is she at California?
She's still here. I haven't moved yet.
Here?
You remember when I said if you want to be up here, you have to be quiet?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to talk to you. You can sit on the floor and draw if you want.
Oh,
But if you want to be up here, you gotta be very quiet.
You know what you should do? You should let your hair grow out and get a mullet.
Oh man, I don't know if I've ever seen anybody with a mullet that actually works.
No, it never works. It's just an ugly, ugly haircut. Every time I've seen a mullet, I'm like, why? Why? And it's just like, it blows my mind that it's coming back in style.
So
It's bad enough popular ones, but why is it coming back?
yeah, it's really, really weird.
Like there's other ones that are weird, like the rat tail. That's weird, but it's like, it's not that ugly. The mullet is just the ugliest hairstyle I've ever seen.
It's so strange. It looks like a. I don't know, like if a horse's mane was a haircut or something.
It kind of looks like the barber or whatever ran out of time and just
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
go ahead. You know what I find really funny is when barbers when they do like the fade, they take like an hour to do the fade, everything's perfect, and then they're like 2 minutes for the top, and they're like done. It's like, okay, but that's the important part. That's the part that makes it look good or not, and you're basically just messing it up. Like the last couple of haircuts I've gotten sucked because of that. Thing is, they they show you in the mirror. It's like, oh, like, are you satisfied? But it's like the mirror is always too far. You can never see. There's like always hair like falling out. You don't know what it really looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you're like, oh, it's probably fine. Then you take a shower and you're like, ah, crap, this is not fine. I'm surprised they haven't invented a hair cutting robot yet.
A hair cutting robot?
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like it probably has been invented. It probably just did not do a good job. I just Googled it because I was curious, and there's a YouTube video. This robot can cut your hair and make small talk. I just feel like once the technology is good enough, the robot's never going to mess up your haircut. It's like you can tell it exactly what you want.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that's exactly what you're going to get. As a person, you can tell them, and it's like, they might not understand exactly what you want, and it's not going to be perfect.
Yeah. Well, I wonder too if there's like certain hair types don't do certain hairstyles very well.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I guess if you're doing like an afro, that might be difficult for a robot. Well, this has been a very pointless conversation, which is
Yeah.
good. Every time we try to have one of those, we always end up being productive.
So if your book's found an audience and they start getting
Surprised
popular,
person of all.
what's that?
I would be the most surprised person of all.
Would you like
You know
license?
what? Literally, if I just like, got a payment or whatever, and I'm like, wait, where did that come from? Because I don't really like, pay close attention to what's happening. I'd be like, wait, why did I just get a $10,000 payment? I'd look and I'd go check and be the salesman and I'd be like, why? Like that would be my reaction. Why? Anyway, sorry. What were you asking?
Oh, I was gonna say, like, would you ever? I mean, you know how like Tom Clancy's like licensed his book properties for like video games and movies and TV shows and stuff. It's like,
That'd be amazing. I'd love to watch like a movie or a series or play a video game based on a book that I've written. That'd be awesome.
that would. Oh man, that would be a dope video game series. It's like
Playing
that
it,
would be like the.
John.
What's that?
Playing as John.
I wonder if we could. I wonder if. Huh.
I wonder what you're wondering. That's what I'm wondering.
So I was wondering, what if you could make some other property, something like for instance, like an app, like a game, or like some kind of something that's tied to the Will Save universe, but it like the app itself is just designed to drive traffic to the books. So it's like it wouldn't necessarily have to be like a game based off of the books, but it'd be like something that, like for instance, like kids research facility. It's like the like you could build anything that you can think of inside the app, and then it runs these simulations to generate procedural worlds or something. I don't know, but like some kind of cool thing like that. And then you have all of these like little moments or hooks that kind of like reference stuff in the books or the worlds, but it's sort of like it's very clear that this is part of a bigger property, so that it might make you interested in like going and checking out the stories. I don't know.
It's funny because every time you come up with ideas like that, I'm like, that does make sense. I also do not want to do it. It's like, I don't know why. When it comes to the books, I just kind of made that like break of like, yeah, I want to finish it because I want to finish it, but I'm never expecting anything to happen with it.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe because I tried for so long and failed so many times that I'm like, I can't get reinvested into this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Or maybe it feels like the old me and I'm like, I don't want to go backwards.
Mm.
I don't know. But I feel like once, this business takes off, and then I don't need to worry about money, then I'm going to be able to have kind of that freedom of, okay, I don't need books to be successful because finances are taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
Now in the back of my mind, I'm like, well, it'd be cool if it made money, but if I'm making enough money that I don't need to worry, it's like, give that.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be it. Like once we're making, consistent money enough that I'm like, all right, I don't need to, spend too much time or energy on this.
Mm-hmm.
That might be my next focus. Like, try to finish the series.
Yeah.
I mean, not, in one sitting, because 5 books is still going to take me a while to write.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm definitely not going to sit down. All right, 5 books in 5 months. I would not do that. I think I would go insane. Or I would just get in the flow and be like very, very good. Like writing 10,000 words every day. I feel like the only way that would work is if like I'm in a cabin in the middle of the woods with no internet
Mm-hmm.
and only like so I can power my computer and like nothing. There's like no entertainment, no distractions, like nothing. Literally either get right or be bored. Those are my options.
Wow.
Part of me is like, I kind of want to do that, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't want to. I don't know. I mean, I already did the whole like 1 book, 1 month thing,
Mm-hmm.
1 month, which is something that I've always wanted to do that I never thought I would do. So I'm like, okay, well, that's done. I can. It's just funny how things like that I've always wanted to do that,
Mm-hmm.
but you never really took it seriously or like tried and then like, didn't really fully commit.
Mm-hmm.
And then you do, and you're like, okay, that was intense, but it really wasn't that hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there were days where I didn't write, or days where I was struggling all day to write. I couldn't like, I mean, I don't know how much you've written, but have you ever experienced that? Okay, I need to write, and it's just, you struggle and you rewrite the same sentence and the same paragraph, and you like write a couple of paragraphs and you're like, nope, that's not good. And you like restart and you just get to the end of the day and you're like, I have 1 paragraph of kind of crappy stuff. It's just such like a feeling of like, I'm an idiot. Why did I waste my entire day when I knew I wasn't being productive?
I definitely have felt that way about like projects that I've tried to make myself do. The ones that I would do for fun, I usually would just trying to think if I've ever had any like big creative writer's block moments.
The thing is, it's not really writer's block. Like writer's block is more like when you're like, I'm staring at the blank page and I don't know what to write. For me, it's just like, sometimes it's like I can't get in the writing mood.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my brain keeps getting distracted. I keep trying to write and it's like not coming. It's like, I know what I need to write.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly what I need to write. It's just not.
I feel like that's most of my time. Like the thing I need to do. I think it's just the creative's curse of like just like a low grade depression about like, well, I know I should do this, but I don't feel like it, and I'm not gonna.
You know what? It happens when I try to do something creative that's nonfiction, such as copywriting.
Mm-hmm.
That just like breaks my brain, and I like struggle so much to do that. But when I have something to do, it's like, design a funnel or a website or whatever. It's like, I don't enjoy the process, yet I get really absorbed by it. And I can spend like 10 hours on the computer and be like, wow, okay, I was really productive. I was really focused, to the point where it's like, I barely drank anything sometimes because I'm so focused. And it's like, as opposed to, oh, I have to write the copy for like the PowerPoint. It's like, I have to get like 1 hour of work done in my field. My brain feels like it's gonna explode, and I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I just want to go curl up in a ball and die. You look like one of those found footage videos with like the grainy like image and stuff.
It's funny. I'm really just a found footage character.
What? Footage character?
I'm just a found footage character.
Oh, you. I thought you said you found a footage character. I'm like, what's a footage character?
Well, the other kid's up too, so I might have to. Oops. Might need to get going.
I couldn't understand what you said because of that voice.
I said the other kid is up too, so I might have to get going. Hey, Zoe. Boo? Why are you saying boo?
Maybe.
Yeah? Got headphones? Uh-huh. Yeah. Hey, you wanna wear these? No. I don't know what that is. That's Even's. Here you go. Are you gonna play with that? Hope Ethan doesn't find out and bonk you one. Alright. Well, I guess I better get up and give Sarah a hand with the kids. Now both of them are up, and Sarah's not feeling better than I am. What's that?
I guess you need to be a responsible parent.
Yeah.
And I'll
Am I
be
eating?
full bachelor.
Just about. Yeah.
Well, I hope you feel better.
Thanks. Me too.
Let me know if ever you need dumb jokes, because I'm sure I can come up with a couple.
Sounds good.
Take care of yourself.